Hey everyone, so let's talk about contingencies today. I'm Monica Dunlap, Total About Houses team with eXp Realty. Okay, so contingencies, especially in this market, being a very strong seller's market, a lot of homeowners out there who are looking to purchase their next home are afraid to put their home on the market because they're afraid if it sells, where do they go? So, we've talked about contingency in the past. The good news is you can still put a contingent offer in. Let me give you an example from this weekend. We had a client, saw a home on Saturday, he absolutely loved. It's a patio home, wanted to put an offer in on it, but it was a contingent upon him selling his home. No big deal, the seller was motivated, ready to go, accepted our contingent offer with a 24-hour first right of refusal, meaning if we had another offer come in on that property our buyer wanted, then he would have 24 hours to release his contingency or lose the home to somebody else, which can be scary in itself. However, we said, okay, we're going to accept the offer and let's get your house listed. So we went on Sunday, went to our buyer's house. Now he's the seller, got his house ready, got photography lined up, make sure it was staged right, and we're going to list it today. So you can do contingencies in this market. You just want to be ready and prepared with your home when that's the case, because the last thing you want to do is find a great home and then you've got to go and declutter your home and paint this room and do that and everything else. So what I suggest, if you're looking to purchase a home, we can still make a contingency work if you own a home. Just make sure you get all those little items completed, and that's where we come in to help. We're happy to do a consult before, just to make sure when you find that home, your home is ready to list on the market. Now, for this buyer, we actually were able to make the lending so he can go non-contingent. He could buy the patio home without selling his current home. Now, even though it's non-contingent now, we're still listing his house today, and we're going to do a simultaneous close with his house and the other house. So he won't have two mortgages. He's going to close on his current home, purchase his patio home, and then be on his way. So contingencies do work. Now, what are other types of contingencies that we have? Well, first of all, there's a mortgage approval contingency. This is already listed on the contract, meaning you put an offer in, but it's contingent upon you being approved for a mortgage. In this market, you really want to have that pre-approval ahead of time and not contingent upon a pre-approval. But there are cases where you could potentially do that. We just talked about the house sale contingency. And something else, you can always do a reverse contingency, which means you list your home before finding a home, which I know can be nerve-wracking. However, when you find a buyer for the home you currently own, it is contingent upon you finding a great home. So if you don't find a great home within a certain amount of time, you tell the buyer, sorry, however, I didn't find a home, so the contract's null and void. Once you do find a great home, then everybody moves forward. And I can explain in more detail. If you have any questions, call, text, or email me anytime, okay? There's always on a contract an inspection contingency, which is, and I always recommend it, even if the home is sold as is, you still want to get an inspection because that's important to really know the bones of the home. If there's anything that could deter you, you don't want to buy a home and find out a month later that it has major foundation issues or it needs a new roof or the HVAC wasn't functioning properly. Always get a home inspection, even if it's sold as is, okay? Just for your own peace of mind, definitely recommend it. And we have some great home inspectors we can recommend to you. And the last contingency is contingent upon appraisal. I am seeing this a lot in this market right now, that buyers are actually waiving the appraisal. Now, what's going to happen though, if you waive the appraisal, for example, if you're purchasing a home and you're offering $200,000 and the home was listed for $180,000, so you asked $20,000 over asking price and you told the seller that you're going to waive your appraisal, what happens if you do that is when you get the appraisal, and if the appraisal only comes in at $180,000, you're going to have to come up with that $20,000 because you told the seller that you're going to waive the appraisal. So it's not always recommended, but it's up to you. If you have extra money in your pocket, you really love the home, and you're okay paying $10,000 more than appraiser says it's worth, then feel free to waive your appraisal contingency. If not, it's always a good idea not to waive it, only because if it doesn't appraise, then you go back to the drawing board and the seller comes down to the price of the appraisal, or you agree to split the difference potentially, where they come down to maybe $190,000, where you're only bringing $10,000 as opposed to $20,000, or you can walk away and saying, hey, sorry, it didn't appraise. This isn't for me. I don't want to bring any extra money to the table. The seller's not willing to negotiate, and you get to dissolve it. You look for another home. So those are basic overview of contingencies, but I want to emphasize, again, in this market, as a buyer and a seller, you're able to utilize a contingency on the sale of your home. You just want to make sure your home is ready to go when you're ready to put that offer in, because you have very limited time to get under contract, and I'd hate for you to find a great home contingent upon you selling the home and we couldn't get it listed in time and another buyer comes and takes it. So it's tough, and it's but it's definitely doable. So I hope that helps. If you have any questions, call, text, or email me anytime. I'm always happy to help. Call the office, 502-744-7505. And till then, I hope everyone has a fantastic week. We'll see you next week. Bye.